the ground, because it's not just, the journalists. Yes, journalists do have uh, certain protections as well, First Amendment rights and whatnot, to act as journalists, to report. But the others that were arrested, they're just kind of tossed by the wayside, and I don't think that's fair. So I'm talking about them too, just to get you up, okay?
Okay.
It is not illegal to document a protest against the federal government. The fact that the protest took place in a church does not negate journalists' First Amendment right to report. The effort to punish independent reporting is an effort to weaken democracy. If Georgia and Don's cases proceed, it would seriously undermine both the freedom of the press and the rule of law. We urge the federal government to remember the importance of the First Amendment. The Minnesota Society of Professional Journalists has recorded several acts of violence against journalists from federal law enforcement in the last month. The failure to stop these acts sets a dangerous precedent for censoring the truth. The Minnesota Society of Professional Journalists will continue its commitment to protect press freedom and advocate for any journalists in our state who experience a First Amendment violation. Thank you, and we'll have a full statement posted on our website, mnspj.org, later today.
So, Lady Letitia, let me ask your opinion. What do you feel is the case with this particular situation here, where the protesters went in? The reason that they went into that church was because they found out that one of the pastors there was uh, actually someone of, I guess, an overseer of ICE agents. And, as Christians, to, be involved with something like that, and then on Sunday morning you're preaching the gospel. It, in their eyes, I believe they were saying that they didn't agree with, what he's doing on Monday through Friday versus what he's doing on the weekends. It was contrary. So, what do you think in terms of that situation? What is your opinion on that? Lady Letitia, and I'm booked again.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry, Auntie Mickey. I
Oh,
heard
that's
this part. What do you think about that?
what do you
Um,
think about the protesters going into the church? Let me just say
um,
one thing. I would personally, I believe that they should have stayed outside
I do too.
and protested outside. That's my opinion. I
Yeah.
don't think that we would be dealing with this whole issue had they stayed outside of the church and protested out there. And that way they couldn't be accused of violating the other rights of the other people. That's my own personal opinion.
I hadn't thought about that until you just mentioned it. But I thought it was kind of bold for them to go up in there and while service was going on and protesting. So I kind of have your sentiments on that. Hmm.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
they should have just protest outside. That could
right.
have been intimidating for the people that were inside.
Right, and especially there's children involved. They were in the church as well,
Yeah,
and I'm sure that they were traumatized. So again, I'm not trying to just be biased and say, "Oh, they were right. They should have done that." But in the same token, when it comes down to the charges against the journalists, um, they were not there as protesters. They were there as journalists to document and record the activities going on. So
right.
that's where, I have a problem with the charges. But in a nutshell, I understand where they were coming from, and I agree with where they were coming from. I just think that it could have been done differently. It could have been done outside. Most definitely, I would definitely protest a pastor as an ICE agent. Where what?
That's weird.
You know, but
Your your ethics.
it
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, again, when we talk about Christianity, we got a lot of fake Christians walking around here, don't know it. whatever works for them. So it's you could people have a difference of opinion, but all in all, I would have to say that yes, they had every right to protest, but where they protested in terms of entering the building, I do believe that um, they could have they could have been just as effective outside the building as going in and being disruptive to the service. That's
Yeah.
my opinion. So
Do we know how long they stayed in there protesting, or
I
it
don't know how
doesn't say?
long. I
Okay.
don't know how long they were in there. I do know that uh, I saw Don Lemon interviewing people.
Me
He
too.
interviewed one of the pastors and everything, and I didn't. And maybe I wasn't looking for it, but I never specifically saw anybody ask them to leave. Not to say that it didn't happen. I'm
Right.
just saying that I never saw that happen. You know, I saw a lot of confused parishioners though, standing there like, what's going on?
I bet.
You know, so, but yeah, I just figure, that they had a righteous beef. They really did, in my opinion. They had a righteous beef. It's just how you go about doing it.
Yeah.
The same thing with the ICE agents. I understand what your job is. How you go about doing it is the issue.
Mm-hmm.
The lack of human decency to people is where people have a problem. People
Yeah.
are losing lives, and then to be told that you can break every rule in the book and you
Yeah.
got your back. That doesn't make for a good situation. It really doesn't.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you. We're going to hear from our current Minneapolis NAACP president.
Good morning. My name is Cynthia Wilson, current president of the Minneapolis NAACP. And you've heard already what's been said. We definitely stand in solidarity with our journalist and specifically Georgia Fort, as she has been an integral part of providing the news for the Black community. That being said, I also want to say that what you're seeing now and what we're experiencing is a pivot away from what's happening with our democracy. And if we allow this to happen now, this is not a Republican, this is not a Democratic, this is not a black or white, as you already heard. This is a humanity issue. And what we're experiencing, you all, and you have to recognize it, even for the most people who are not even, brilliant or can't see clearly, this is blatant as it gets. Number 47 is out to be a dictator. And he is looking to take away all of our rights. Everyone who voted him in, he's voting you out. So what I would say, we have another election coming up. We need to prepare to vote, to get our voices heard, and to make sure that we're doing what's necessary to make sure our democracy stays a democracy and not a dictatorship. That being said, we're standing in support of Georgia Fort, and we're asking that she be released immediately. And at that point, I'll turn it back over to the hearing.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like I said,
I bet what them agents feel like when they go and pick up these people.
well, and that's, I've seen footage of ICE agents that are not on duty, and I was very disappointed. I really was. That there's got to be some good ones in there, but I haven't seen one yet.
Yeah.
I've seen an ICE agent tell someone, "If you raise your voice at me, I will end your voice."
Yep.
What is that? Is that a threat? Well, I
Yeah.
can raise my voice at you, but you
And then
can end
you're in
mine
me. Yep.
because some orangutan in Washington said you could. That's wrong.
Exactly.
That's wrong as two
They
left
give you
shoes.
permission to kill on sight.
Run them up. I showed a video yesterday of some protesters outside of one of the hotels where the agents were staying at, and the protesters went out in front of that hotel and they were protesting, and you could see up in the window, I don't know how many floors up, maybe five floors up, and they were looking out the window at the people on the street, and they were in their plain clothes, no masks or anything, and they were taunting the people, and one of the guys actually turned around, pulled his pants down and mooned the people down there and then flipped them off. That mentality,
Oh, wow. It's very childish.
but that's who we have running around here with guns.
Exactly.
This
It's scary.
mentality is, I mean, they're like high school boys that ain't been taught nothing yet. These are grown men. These are grown men that go in and bash in windows to get into the what you call it, on January 6th. These are those kind of people. These proud boys. Those types. And that's a dangerous recipe, to put that mentality in a law enforcement type situation and then give them carte blanche to behave in any way, shape, or form that they wish.
Yeah, that is.
Chris
It's
Fisher says, Biden been in government for how many years connected to the KKK? Do you have any receipts to show that to be true? Or is this just an accusation? Where's your proof of that? Or is this an opinion? I'm curious, because if you have it, I would love to see it. Biden wasn't my favorite president either. Because like I said, I'll tell anybody, I don't trust none of them. None of them. When it comes to politicians, I don't trust any of them. Because when you get into politics, that's a dirty business. And you got to compromise in ways that you shouldn't have to compromise. So, Chris,
exactly.
if you got some receipts that verify this, I would love to see that. If you don't, then I'm gonna have to agree with Eric Reed. Chris making crap up.
Is that my husband?
Is that your husband?
I think
Eric
so. Wait a minute. Yes, that's my husband.
Hello, hubby. Hello, nephew. I see you snuck in here. Okay, so who was that? Someone just told me that Don is on. He's speaking out live right now. Let me see if I can pull
Was
him.
he's been on for I have it if you need me to send it.
Well, I was just gonna jump on YouTube and
Okay.
see if I can pull him up real quick.
Okay.
Oh, this one is Don Lemon Speaks Out 1 hour ago.
Yeah, about an hour ago.
Okay. Let me I'm just going to show a little bit of this. I don't want to, you know YouTube be tripping. Hold on just a second. I'm going to share my screen. But this is more than just Don Lemon. This is other people that stepped up to the plate and had to pay a price, so to speak, for it. Okay, hold on just a second.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lemon Live at 5, except it's Lemon Live at 5 Pacific Coast time, Pacific time. Thank you so much for joining this evening on a Friday. Sorry, I'm 3 hours late for the 5 o'clock show, but, I had some things that I had to do today. But in all seriousness, I am fine. I am doing well. And I appreciate all of your love and your support. I really do, more than anything. As a matter of fact, I want to tell you guys, like, I ran into Lemonheads today. There was a gentleman who's a Lemonhead in the courtroom this evening with a Don Lemon Show hat on, you know, the light blue hat. And he made sure that I saw him and he waved. And so I have a lot of folks to thank, and in no particular order. But the mayor of Los Angeles was there, Karen Bass. I think it was fantastic. By the way, I don't know anything. Like, I have not seen the news. I haven't seen anything. I did not know. I've been getting feedback from everyone about what has happened. I had no idea that all of this turmoil was going on. I just thought, like, you know, it would be, I thought people would report on it, but not to this extent. So thank you guys. And
He don't realize how popular he is, I guess, because this is all I've been hearing all day long. Don
Yeah.
Lemon, Don Lemon, Don Lemon, Don Lemon. Okay.
Very
I like Don Lemon. I really do. I've watched him since he was on CNN with Chris Cuomo.
Yeah,
I thought they made a perfect pair
I did
together.
too. It was a good
Yeah.
mix there.
So hopefully he'll have something to say about what he experienced. So let's
hit the
see.
like and hit the thumbs up, because it does affect the algorithm, and more people become aware of our conversation and our show. And today is a really important one, and it's important for our democracy and to the Constitution of the United States, and what the amendment that I believe is the bedrock of our democracy, and that is the First Amendment: freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom to peaceably assemble, all of those things. This encapsulates all of that. And I'm glad that, at least to the extent that it has, that people are realizing the critical moment that we're in this country, that our rights are under assault. It may have started with people having their due process rights violated on the streets, violently violated on the streets.
Mr. Phillips, that man ain't gonna give me the time of day. But thanks for the sentiment. I wish he would come on my show. I
I know,
wouldn't know what to
right?
ask him. That would be so cool.
But now they're trying to silence journalists, and I will not be silenced. And I think journalists should not be silenced. I think this is a very critical time for journalists in this country to stand up to this tyrannical administration. And look, journalists are going to be, I believe they can be the folks that save us. I actually believe that artists will be the people that save us as well. And that's why I'm here in Los Angeles, is to cover the artists who are exercising their freedom of expression rights and creating fantastic music. And so I'll explain to you in a moment what happened, because I was actually I had just been on the red carpet at the Black Music Collective, the Grammy Black Music Collective, and we were talking about the power and the importance of representation in music and black music. I had just seen Ketanji Brown Jackson. I just waved hello to her as she walked by. She didn't want to do an interview. I saw, Pharrell and all of the wonderful artists who are contributing to what's good in this country, the very best. But so look, I have been, guys, a journalist for 30 years, if not more. I'm a man of a certain age. I always say old people be knowing. And the only job or profession that is protected in the Constitution, I believe, and in the very First Amendment, is a job that I do, is a job that I have, and so many journalists around the world. So this.
Yes, Liz, he's out now. Yeah, he's out.
This is a moment for journalists, I believe, around the world. And I am so grateful to everyone who has voiced their support, who has put out statements, who has reached out to me, who has said, whatever you need financially, whatever support that you need. It has been overwhelming. And I do think right now that people understand that, again, this is a very critical time. And I hope that this continues, and to support not just me. If I can be the catalyst for or the inspiration for people to say, finally, stand up to the powers that be in our government. And also, quite frankly, having come from corporate media for a long time, to stand up to the gatekeepers, the corporations, and say, no, I am not going to bend the knee to this administration. I am not going to put on liars and insurrection deniers and election deniers. I'm not going to give my platform to those people. I'm not going to put people on television and give them a platform, people who come on just to lie and to offend and to insult people. It's insulting to the American people. This is not folly. It's not funny. This is not a game. If you look at any tyranny or any autocracy, any sort of dictatorship, the first thing they do is they get rid of the media. They try to silence the media. Ask Turkey about that, Erdogan. Ask Iran about that. Ask any country that has lost its way, that has been overtaken by a dictator. They get rid of the press first.
Thicker Pickle. No, he's not in jail anymore, sweetheart.
And so we need to start standing up. And I got to say that from what I've heard, I haven't had a chance to see it. I've heard that my former colleagues at CNN all came out pretty unanimously, pretty strongly to support me. I understand. I believe that CNN released a statement. I've heard that CNN released a statement. Thank you very much. I have no animus for CNN. I have no animus for anyone, but I tell the truth as about what I see. And I think it's time for all journalists to stand up for each other. So I appreciate that. And at CNN, I worked with the best journalists in the world. So I wish them nothing but the best. But I believe those journalists as well need to stand up to the corporation. They need to tell Warner Brothers Discovery, stop playing and get your hands out of the newsroom. CBS needs to tell Paramount and David Ellison and whatever, get out of our newsroom, get out of our journalism. Barry Weiss, take your hands off of it. Let the journalists be the journalists. All of them. That goes for every single corporate entity that owns a journalistic organization. Let the journalists be the journalists, because they are going to save our democracy if you just let them do it. The way to stand up to a bully, to a tyrant, is not to bend the knee. It's not to acquiesce.
I agree with that. And as it stands now, legacy media is doing just that. They're not reporting the news as it's really happening. Let's be truthful about it. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you agree with. They're not reporting the news to the point where people can totally consume what's going on. They're not the boots on the ground. They're safe and tucked away in their studios. But it's those that are independent media that get out there and get amongst the people, which is really important. If you really want the truth out there, you've got to get out there and find the truth.
It is to metaphorically punch them right in the nose. And you need to introduce not only Donald Trump and the folks who work for him and his administration, but the corporate overlords and the gatekeepers. You need to introduce them to the word no. All the journalists, they cannot fire you. We were always taught when I worked in corporate media that the news is a star. That's bullshit. If the news was a star, everybody would have the same ratings. And everybody doesn't have the same ratings. The journalists are the stars. The people who are delivering the news, those are the stars. And the people who do well, they get the ratings and they get the respect.
Let's see. Mr. Good Citizen says, I don't agree with charging him, but what he did was wrong. Can you specify exactly what did he do wrong in your eyes? What did he do wrong? I just want some clarity. Ball striker.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out too. What did he do wrong? And I couldn't find anything.
Okay. Ball striker bandito. I don't want to mess up your name. Ball striker bandito says, Don Lemon, you're insulting for crashing that church and trying to hide behind the smokescreen of journalism. You are a disgrace to real journalism, and now you're playing victim, old, tired playbook. You know, like I said earlier, I think you might not have been in the chat at the time. I don't necessarily agree. Well, I do agree with what they stood for in the protests. However, I believe that they should have remained outside of that church. That's my own personal opinion. Okay. But if Don Lemon went in there specifically to report, then I don't see anything wrong with that. But I believe that they should have remained outside of that church and they could have gotten the same thing accomplished. Okay.
So it is, and actually having come from that, now I understand that what my star quality is, that is being honest.
What does it matter if he was in the church or not? It matters quite a bit, actually. That's considered First Amendment rights to freedom of speech. But going into the building where people are worshiping was a violation in their First Amendment rights. That's how I feel. But those protesters have every right to protest what they don't believe in. Justice Dean, he isn't compliant. He is a bigot. And can you prove that? Where is your documentation? And churches are not private property, they're public entities. Y'all got to look at the law, man.
This
Now,
is
just
what I
what
don't understand is why the federal government is picking him up for something as stupid as being in the church, using his First Amendment right to be in there and to report on the story. The story happened to be in the church, so that's where he was.
mhm. Liz just said, why was him only arrested? He wasn't the only one arrested, Liz. There
There
were
was
three
them.
others. 3 others were also arrested. 1 other journalist and 2 activists were also arrested, which I will introduce the other 2 activists after this clip. Public property is funded by taxes. That's why it's public. Jesus. Go ahead. Let me just.
Honest and authentic and telling the truth. And I think that's, if everyone did that and they were not afraid of the powers that be, that's our motto. That's our mission. Just like a doctor, just like a lawyer, what we're supposed to do is hold the powerful to account and do no harm. And if you don't want to do harm to the American people, then stand up for democracy. Stand up for the First Amendment. So thank you so much. CNN journalists, I love you, Dana Bash. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Aaron Burnett. Thank you to all of the people over at CNN who I like. And thank you to the management and who I worked with forever for putting out a statement. And thank you to the folks on MSNBC. Thank you to Scott Galloway and to everyone. I got a funny note from Anthony Scaramucci just a moment ago, and he said, we were on your show today, but you weren't there. You must have been busy. So I appreciate that humor, Anthony. But for so many people who have come on, look, I just want to tell you that, I also want to thank all of the folks who are, the foreign journalists who are in war zones, just everyone. Thank you so much. I mean, my heart is, I am overwhelmed. I haven't had a chance to read but a few texts from folks. I just got off the phone with my mom for the first time, and she was worried, and my nieces and my family in Louisiana. And look, I got to thank some people who came to my rescue, and that's my husband, who.
Chandra, you said clearly we got some MAGA in the chat, and that's fine. MAGA people, everybody is welcome in here. I don't care if you're MAGA or non-MAGA. I don't have a problem with that. As long as you can have a difference of opinion in here. I don't have a problem with that. Just be respectful. We can agree to disagree. That's what adults do. But the moment you become disrespectful up in here, I will be disrespectful right back. So please, let's just simmer down. The churches I know of are public property.
They are. It doesn't say only if you're Baptist you can come in. No, it's a public place.
It's considered a public entity. Yes, it is funded with taxes. I mean, state taxes, federal taxes. They get all kind of tax breaks, but they are public property.
They're not going to send you away if you go in there and sit down. What they're going to do? You don't look right. You need to get out. It's a public place. How is it not? It's more public than a restaurant.
Dirty Money says they are private property owned by a diocese or church or corporation, aka a group of people, not public property. They are deeded like a commercial property. Most churches belong to the diocese. My church don't belong to a diocese.
Yeah.
Yes, Liz. You have a question? Hello, Lady of Elegance Candles. How are you? Liz Wild Desert Life has a question. We're going to wait for her question. You guys are North Americans. Have you seen this happen before?
Never.
Actually, this is very indicative of what took place back in the 60s.
Yeah, I don't remember.
When
Yeah.
Black Americans were fighting for their civil rights. So history has a tendency to repeat itself.
Yeah, it's starting to.
And Black
The rest of
people
y'all have been
were
trying to
going
get
through this
shut up.
thing just like people, and now it's not just Black people, it's all people. Right, you weren't born then. And it can be scary, I agree. Well, Mr. Good Citizen, we can agree to disagree. I have I know what's public and what's private in terms of a church. I'm married to a pastor.
Who had my back and who made sure that all of this was that it was handled properly and that my rights were not violated. I want to thank one of my dearest friends in the world and my agent, Jay Souris, who is there. And so
you might be wrong, you might be right, Mr. Good Citizen. Okay, and I'll check that out, but I'm just gonna disagree at this point. But I appreciate you. Thank you.
Jay, I love you. Thank you. And Jay's wife, who just cooked me lunch because I haven't eaten for a while. And I want to thank, there's so many people. I don't even know how many people. And I don't want to leave anybody out. I'm not trying to leave anybody out. My attorney, Abby Lowell, is amazing, who put out this wonderful statement for me. Allison Gallus, who's my PR person, who put out this wonderful statement and created a war room for me and a council.
Penguin said, if white MAGA guys went and protested in a Black church, acting that because the pastor is part of BLM, because if they get away with it, you open the door for that. Maybe you weren't in here. I don't agree with that they went inside the church. They should have not gone inside the church. They should have remained outside.
Yeah.
And a board of directors, so to speak, a board of advisors for me. So thank you, Allison. And thank you, Jeff Zucker, for saying that you've never been prouder of me. High praise from you.
Let's see. Someone just said, I'm sorry, I have to keep stopping this. Dirty Money says he violated the FACE Act, aka Klan Act, the one drawn up to protect Black worshiping. Actually, the FACE Act was drawn up to protect abortion clinics, and churches were then slid into it. It was not to protect Black people from church.
My friend, thank you. And Monique, I can't thank you enough for being on the air. I don't know how long you've been on. I heard there were so many people. I heard that was Monique, I think Charles Coleman, and just a whole host of others. Everyone who has reached out Let me see, Tim. And thank you to the social team, Chris. And by the way, had just left one of the guys in the social team. We had gone to the Black Music Collective to do the red carpet, to talk to people about the importance of music and the arts in this time that we're in. And then we went to the Spotify to see the new artists who are coming up. And I was so proud of them because they are creating a space in this world. And I got to talk to them and a lot of influencers and a lot of young people. And that's where our future is. So I'm out here not just going to parties to party. I'm out here interviewing people and doing the work as a journalist. That's why I'm here. I'm here to do the Grammy red carpet. That's why I came, and not to, be at fancy parties or whatever, but to celebrate the First Amendment, the freedom of expression. So we'll see. Am I going to do? People have been asking me if am I still going to do the red carpet? I don't know. I'll see. If we can celebrate and promote the First Amendment, then I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. And I also want to thank my team. Last but not least, I saved the best for last. Well, not quite. I did thank my husband, but I just want to thank my team, who are just amazing. Thank you, Nikki and Peter and Andy. The best team in streaming. When we started this show, most of us, they hadn't. I think Peter and I were used to doing live because we came from cable news. But I don't know if Andy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, and Nikki were, and we trained ourselves to do this show every single day, live, twice a day.
Okay, Liz says, so if they have the nerve to look down on the people that made the way for them to be in this country, they should fight for themselves. I'm not sure who you're referring to. Who is they? Who are you specifically referring to? I just want some clarity. Are you referring to immigrants? Are you referring to black people? I'm not sure who you're referring to. Because we've been talking about a couple of different topics. Okay, I'm not gonna go way all up there. Say what you mean. Hispanic people. Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. The fact that people think it's okay to even protest at a church in the first place like that is ridiculous. There are just regular people, not heads of the church. Yes, they have every right to protest at a church. I don't agree with them going in the church, but they have every right to protest a church. That's what the First Amendment covers, freedom of speech. Now, I don't believe that they should have went inside the church.
At least 5 days a week, weekdays, and then sometimes on the weekends, and just to do network quality coverage. And you guys are just the best. I am so grateful and so fortunate to have you, and thank you so much. Monique, thank you for being my friend and my confidant and someone I can call on and talk to when I'm in need. Thank you, my former executive producer, Maria Spinella, who reached out so many people. And then my friends, my very dear friends, who are my chosen family, all the guys, and you know who you are, John and Carrie and Steve and Tarek and Darren, the two Darrens. Who am I missing? Mario and Stefan, Robert and Gunnar, just all of you guys. Thank you so much. And just dear friends and people that I haven't heard from for a long, long time. And I hope I didn't leave anybody out, but thank you so much. I'm going to go back and look at everything. But again, a special thank you to my former colleagues at CNN, because I know that you are the best journalists in the world and that you believe in our country and this democracy. As I said in my statement, I haven't seen anything. I have not seen this.
Penguin said, what if there were protests of BLM members being in church? Just because someone is ICE doesn't mean you target them. If someone wants to protest BLM, they have the right to do that. That's what the First Amendment is for. But you cannot convolute Black Lives Matter versus ICE. Black
It-
Lives Matter is not going willy-nilly killing people. Two separate entities. Oh my goodness, none of your business. Now, you know what? None of your business. I wouldn't normally put that up there, but that is kind of funny. So, thank you for the joke. Thank you.
But this is a statement that I ran when I left the courthouse today, and I want to play that, and then I'll be back in a second. Here it is. I want to thank everybody for their support. It truly means the world to me. I have no idea what's going on because obviously I haven't seen anything. I have spent my entire career covering the news. I will not stop now. In fact, there is no more important time than right now, this very moment, for a free and independent media that shines a light on the truth and holds those in power accountable. Again, I will not stop now. I will not stop ever. Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for something that I've been doing for the last 30 years, and that is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists who do what I do.
Black Lives Matter was founded on a lie.
Don't forget to bless your host, guys.
Hold on just a second. Okay, I had to sneeze real quick. Black Lives Matter was founded on a lie. Most of the heads of the organization ran it like a scheme and pocketed millions while purchasing mansions and expensive cars. It's a means to further divide. So does your president.
Yeah, that's why we're so
Ain't
divided.
that the
Yeah.
pot calling the kettle black?
I stand with all of them, and I will not be silenced. I look forward to my day in court. Thank you all. And I reiterate those words. I look forward to my day in court, and I look forward to proving my innocence. I believe in my innocence, and I believe in our right, again, to a very free and viable First Amendment. And look, just to all of the reporters who have been targeted and who have gone through this before, I support you, and I thank you for your support. Like my colleague over at the Washington Post, whose home was raided and devices were confiscated. We need to stand up for all journalists. So I stand with you, and I humbly bow, and I am grateful for all of your support. Okay, so I am exhausted. I am overwhelmed. I did not get much sleep, but I did get a little sleep, but not much. And by the way, so I'm going to be here. So hit the like, hit the thumbs up, become a member, support independent.
Okay, we got you. We got you. We got you. But yeah, hit my like button. How about that? But no, basically, like I said, I don't have a problem with people having a difference of opinion. Okay, so you guys' opinion is welcome here, and we can agree to disagree. Okay, because some things I do agree with, and some I don't. Okay, but the purpose of this live was not just to focus on Don Lemon. The purpose of this live was also to shine light on those other people that were also arrested by the federal agents. So the first person I'm going to bring up, and this won't take long, but you need to know who we're talking about here. Now, this is Trayon Cruz. He's a 2024 Bush Fellow. He was one of the individuals that was arrested for being in the church during the protests. He is an activist. He's also actually co-founder of Black Lives Matter in Minnesota, which is where George Floyd was assassinated, killed, whatever verbiage you want to call. I do not know that. What do you mean? What was the decibel level of the protesters on the street? When? That's not even relevant at this point. Traherne Cruz is a visionary leader whose work spans social justice, reparatory justice, and community empowerment. As a co-founder of Black Lives Matter Minnesota, he played a key role in propelling the global reckoning on race following George Floyd's murder. With a deep commitment to reparations and economic justice for Black Americans, Traherne's efforts have led to the creation of legislation like the St. Paul Recovery Act and the Minnesota Migration Act, aiming to rectify historical injustices and build generational wealth for Black communities. To grow his leadership skills and influence to drive social change, he will spend time engaging more deeply in educational initiatives, expanding his network, and enhancing his public speaking skills to better advocate for his community. What has informed your approach to leading change in your community? Listening to my elders and learning from the collective experiences of family and friends have been pivotal. These conversations have taught me the importance of tradition, resilience, and the power of a united community when facing systemic challenges. I've also built a personal library over the years that has been a significant resource for self-teaching and expanding by understanding of history, justice, and activism. What was your first job and what lessons did you take away from it? My first job was with the Urban League in St. Paul, where I was paid $4 an hour to post flyers around the community. This role was not only my introduction to formal employment, but also a profound learning experience. It was during this time, through school and working in various settings, like a malt shop, washing dishes, or cutting grass, that I learned the value of hard work and developed a strong work ethic. What is your favorite question or expression? When we fight, we win, by my mentor, Mel Reeves. This expression truly encapsulates my approach to activism. It is relentless, hopeful, and transformative, and motivates me to pursue large-scale changes for my community. So that was, again, his name is Traherne Cruz. He's the one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter in Minnesota. The other individual I'm going to show is Jamel Lundy. He is presently running for the state's 65th Senate District in Minnesota. Okay. Let me go to the top here. This is Jamel Lundy. And like I said, he's running for State Senate District 65. Says, my name is Jamel Lundy. I'm a husband, a small business owner, a lifelong DFL activist, and former staff member for 65B. I am running for Minnesota Senate. While I'm proud to be a Democrat, I also recognize this moment calls for a different type of Democrat, one with the character to lead honestly, the competence to govern effectively, and the courage to bring big, bold ideas into reality. For more than a decade, I've worked in the halls of the state capitol on the toughest issues for the most progressive Democrats in the state, helping to pass bold policies on immigration, police accountability, gun violence prevention, and education. As a lifelong DFLer, I've organized across the state to deliver Democratic majorities in the Minnesota House, Minnesota Senate, and U.S. Congress. If you're looking for a different type of Democrat, one with the character and competence to effectively fight for the future and win, then join me for caucus on February 3rd. That is Mr. Jamel Lundy. And again, he's running for State Senate District 65. So basically, like I said earlier, a lot of you weren't here yet, but I didn't want to just focus on Don Lemon because everybody's talking about Don Lemon, Don Lemon. That's because he's the most notable person that was involved in who was arrested. And there were 3 others that were also arrested. As a matter of fact, others were arrested just last week and released. I don't recall the lady's name that organized the protest, but she also was arrested. So again, my stance on that particular protest was I believe in what they believed in. However, entering the building was not a good idea at all. And they could have easily exercised their First Amendment rights without inflicting or preventing others from their First Amendment rights. One can't cancel out the other. So again, this is a situation where you can agree to disagree. And they could have made their point just as well by doing it outside. So, but with all that said, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the live at this point. I appreciate everyone that came by. Lady Letitia, is there anything you want to say before we close out? You're on mute.
It's so
I see
noisy.
the lips is moving.
Yeah, it's so noisy over here. You know, no telling what you're gonna hear over here. No, just it was a great live. It's something. It was a shock to me that they would arrest these journalists, and it just told me the story that Donald Trump is trying to silence journalism.
Yeah. Well, it's
Because
unfortunate. Go
because
ahead.
the local federal on their level, they said no, we are not going to charge him with anything.
Hmm.
And then they took it to the next level.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
that's
they
how
did it
they
another
got,
way.
yes, got arrested.
Yeah.
Not on the local level, but because they said they didn't want to, there's no charges to be made. They didn't do anything wrong. But then Donald Trump looked down his hole and said, let's go get him. And that's what happened, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. It's again, it's this whole thing has gotten to the point where, the lines are blurred in many areas. I think everybody pretty much wants a safe America. I would hope that everybody wants a safe America. And you can't have a safe America when you've got people going out there and just running willy-nilly on people. There's a way of going about the business of this country, even
Yeah.
when it comes to immigration, and there's something called due process.
Hmm.
Even illegal immigrants are entitled to due process.
Exactly.
And that due process, if they're not supposed to be here, let the process work and they gotta go. But
Right.
you can't just go snatching people up because they look a certain way. That's
Right.
racial profiling. And I just find it very ironic though that again it took a white woman to die
Yeah, it did.
for all this to come to a head. When there was a brother that was unalived on December 31st, New Year's
Yep.
Eve, by off-duty ICE agent who saw him. He was pow-powing his gun up in the air like most people do on New Year's Eve.
Right.
And to go into your home, into your apartment, because this was in an apartment building, goes into his apartment and puts on his ice gear.
Mm.
He didn't just come out in his street clothes. No,
Oh,
he went in and changed into his uniform and came out and ordered this man to put give him his gun.
Wow.
And when the man
It's not a
refused,
police officer.
exactly. I mean, first of all, you're off duty. Second of all, if there was a problem, it's your responsibility to call local police. That's their
Right.
jurisdiction. See, this is where the lines are getting blurred, where people seem to think that they have this particular title as ICE agent, and that gives them carte blanche to just run amok on
Yep.
everybody and step all over everybody else's jurisdiction.
They're above the law.
And that's a dangerous place to be when you have people that have a certain resentment for certain people of color or nationality, and they're given a platform to exercise the very things that their racist views allow them to carry out. That's
Right.
a dangerous place to be.
It's very dangerous. It gives them permission.
I'm sure that a lot of white people would have a problem if the Black Panther Party were given carte blanche to walk
Okay.
around the streets with their 9 millimeters and whatever else they're carrying, and given the authority to start bullying people on the street
Right.
because of their white skin. That's wrong. That would be wrong. So what makes it right for them to do that? This is America. This ain't white America. This ain't black America. This is America.
Right.
So either you're going to be down for the Constitution as it is, or you can go to another country and live. Go live in a racist dictatorship. I'm sure Russia's got plenty of room. If that's the kind of
Okay.
atmosphere you want to live in, then you're free to go there. But you can't come and turn that here. You can't, not without a fight.
Right. Not without a fight. Where you're going to get resistance. You're going to get it every
Mhm.
which way. Especially these senseless killings that have happened in the last couple of weeks. It's really disturbing.
Yeah.
And it will forever be in history as
Yeah.
disturbing.
Well, he wanted to be known in history, and he got his wish. Neosporin, I love your name, by the way. Neo5Porin. Maggots are the worst thing in American history. I agree that this person is not right for the office, and it appalls me that he got a second chance. I
Yeah,
just don't
I
understand it.
kind of figured he would because there was a lot of people that were
Lied to. He did the bait and switch. He said, I'm going to release the Epstein files, and he didn't. He finally did half of it today, and was supposed to release 6 million pages and only released 3 million pages, and his name is all up in there. Exactly, Neosporin. The Panthers was about taking care of community. Most definitely. And hopefully, I'm not sure when this will happen, but I may have an opportunity to have a Black Panther, an original Black Panther,
oh
here on my platform soon,
that's
if everything falls into place. So, Neosporin says we have a predator in chief, in thief. Yes. So, I mean, like I said, I don't have a problem with people having an opinion as long as they are respectful with it. You can share your opinion here. Okay.
Wow.
So you are so welcome, love. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming by this evening. You didn't have to, but you did. And I appreciate for everybody that participated. Oh, yes, I know they're afraid to go to Philly because Sister Girl ain't playing in Philadelphia. Not at all. Hello, Queen Tulsa. How are you, beautiful? So good to see you, sweetheart. Yeah, I've been coming over there checking you out. I be checking out your live. Well, with all that said, more power to the people. Thank you. Back at you, Queen. Thank you. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I, again, appreciate all of the love, all of the support that you guys give. And to all the new people that came, whether we agree or not. I'm on later if you. Oh, yeah, I'll be up. I'll be up.
Are
I
you
certainly
going
will.
slots?
Huh?
Are you going to the slots tonight?
No, Queen Tulsa says, I'm on later if you're up. So she's going to go.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to go on later. So I'll look out for you. I'll
Check
set
you
my
out,
notification for you,
Tulsa.
love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, you guys have a wonderful weekend. And God bless you guys. Stay safe out there because these streets is crazy. They crazy with a
Yes.
vengeance. So protect your loved ones. Protect yourself. And until I see you again, God bless. Peace.
Hey there, my kinfolk, thanks for stopping by. Auntie Mickey's house, where we reach for the sky. Every comment and smile, you make my heart glow. Together we're strong, together we grow. From gossip to politics, we cover it all. Sharing laughs and thoughts, having a ball. Your support means everything that I know. Feels like family here in this sweet show. So let's keep it flowing, keep the love alive. Every moment together makes me thrive. You're more than viewers, you're my kinfolk. You see, my gratitude runs deep as the sea. Thank you for being here, for sharing your time with each comment, with each rhyme. You're my kinfolk, my family, my crew. So much love to all of you. Turn up the camera, let's make it bright. Your support lifts me up, takes flight.